Welcome back, comrades, to DIY by NZguy. Recessing drainage pipe overview. Just going to quickly go over what I've did in a previous video or series. I fixed up my leaky cold water expansion valve and had the drainage. Used to be a copper pipe there. Decided to dig it into the ground, that way it doesn't get in my way, and yeah, looks better. The pipe that's underneath is just a regular butane line that runs all the way across. There's a joint there, little marker just for the future so I can know what's going on. If it leaks from there, I know it's the joint. Curls out, twist, and then ends up coming out just there. It's working lovely and I'm very happy with the result. The way I accomplished this is I went out, hired a tool. I did have some luck getting a cheap one. It was a wall chaser, so set it to 25mm deep. Just run it across. Actually run it the right way. There's only one way to go with a wall chaser, and it's towards the uncut. That way it doesn't spew out all the dust through the cut channels and you don't have a dust all over. So make sure you're moving it the right way. That's one trouble I ran into. So you just cut nice and long. Just keep going. When you get to the bend, I was using plunge cuts. It worked alright because the blades, you don't want to put too much sideway pressure. So plunge cutting kind of worked, not a problem. Finished off here. Unfortunately, because of this corner, I wasn't able to follow through. What I did end up doing is just getting a demo saw. Like, you don't need a deep one, so I got like a battery powered one which did the job fantastic, and you just cut along there. So in any case, I feel like this kind of cut can be achieved with an angle grinder and a diamond concrete saw blade. I'll put up a little picture maybe now. Just so you can see how much it might cost you. I decided to go for something more expensive, as in the higher wise, but less headaches in doing two cuts, because I don't trust myself keeping it the same distance. It is achievable if you set up a good jig, like a depth guide, so it doesn't go. After it's been cut through, you can use a manual chisel and just chisel all the bits out. Just remember, have very good protective gear like M3, N95, dust masks, goggles that don't fog up, otherwise you're gonna struggle with this one. Once I chiseled all out, it was about 10 kilos worth of concrete, not including the 3 kilos of dust that I sucked up while cutting it. So be mindful, you do create a lot of dust and you do create a lot of waste. So you gotta collect it, suck it up, vacuum it up as you kind of go, so it's not spreading across the garage and covering everything in dust. In some cases it did happen to me, which is a downside, so I have to kind of wipe everything down again. And now the other bit that I struggled with was the length. Luckily I've just bought just the perfect amount. This is what's left over out of 10 meters, and I didn't have any more joints, so I was afraid I was going to run short, but luckily got lucky enough, so it all fit well. The biggest problem I ran into was making sure that the cut was deep enough for the pipe to go in, because if you put it in and it's not deep enough, it's going to be too close to the surface. So if I do want to grind this floor in the future, in, you know, a few years time, I might hit the pipe and then cut through it and then just basically ruin the project. And also you don't want to cut too deep because you might hit rebar and weaken the structure of it. So luckily I didn't hit any rebar through this entire length, which is all good. I did end up creating this little jig. It's just a cut off of the pipe, a little bit held by the screws just through the board. I was plunging it in and making sure that it's not jiggling, that it's the bottom of the channel is not touching the pipe itself, it's just staying up. So that way I was able to run it across, know where the high points are, go back with a chisel those high points out, remove the dirt, and then continue on. It did take quite a while to chisel this through, so be patient, take your time, get it right, and then when you come back, just do a nice dry fit. Make sure you do a dry fit before you crimp anything, because I decided to switch the pipes around where the shorter bit goes, where the longer bit goes, because I do have a joint connection here with a crimped up piece. If I didn't, if I left it there, it would be somewhere around here, and I didn't want that. I didn't want the joint piece be right in the middle, because if the rain comes and this spot is wet, it's gonna have a back of my mind, oh my god, is it wet because the joint is leaking, or is it wet because of the rain? I didn't want to have that headache, so I pre-planned and had it here. So the other bit was, once you lay it down, the pipe, the plastic pipe, is never going to be perfectly level to the ground. So what I ended up is putting weights on it at certain locations and then just cementing in between. And once I cemented in between and the cement has set, then I remove the weights, make sure it's still nice and tight to the ground, and then cement those as well. So it was a couple of day job just to cement all the parts, but I eventually got it done. Then give it a day, just use my foot, loosen up any dirt, vacuum it up, and perfect. It's all done, it's all looking good, it's holding strong. I'm gonna just keep an eye on the cracks. There shouldn't be any, but this is my first time recessing something like this, and I didn't know which concrete to use or anything. It's just basically guesswork, which is awesome. Also, when I came back, you might have seen in a previous video, yeah, there was a bit of a destroyed corner there, because the pipe that in there didn't work. Oh, yeah, another project, need to fix that up, but that's another one. So I created a little bit like this, so it's all kind of dripping, nice and slow. It's not going fast. I can see the actual drips coming out, and one of the benefits of having it nice and straight this way, if it does say start to have a growth in there like mold or moss, I can always kind of approach and shove something in there, try to clear the pipe before I have a critical failure in the middle somewhere. Otherwise, it all worked well. My suggestion is to just take your time, get the cut right, get the depth right, put it in, patch it up in certain places by pushing down the pipe where it's sticking up. That way you're not going to have, I do have like good 3 to 4 mils of cement on top before I hit the pipe. Even if I grind it 2 mil, it's still covered up, which is good. And the other part is, when you're using some kind of concrete, make sure that you wet the area first. You have a spray bottle, wet the area, then you work your concrete in around the pipe. Not just slap it on top and then smooth it out, done. No, I don't want any air underneath the pipe, because in the later I feel like it's going to cause issues. Things not going to be holding on as strong as they could, and I didn't want any failures. Fantastic. So this project is done, and I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. This has been DIY by NZ Guy.